Hi everyone, it's the Psychic Sleuth, and I'm here today. I'm going to be doing Susan Powell, but I connected to Charlie instead of Susan this time. Just because I feel like he wanted to get his voice out, and because I was having kind of a hard time connecting to Susan for whatever reason. Maybe she wanted Charlie to speak up, I don't know. But, so just a reminder, I did this reading 8/10/19, so on Saturday. But I do get past, present, and future. Not all may fit here, as cases do interconnect. Um, I do believe that some of the info that we've gotten in Erica, Jen, Mackenzie, and maybe even Cheryl may fit this case. And other cases possibly that I've done as well. That just seems to be the way that it works. um, Even if I try for it not to. And usually it happens to do with similarities as the cases or similarities of the area. So Charlie, the name Charlie's been coming in for a while now, at least over a year. Charles has come through many times in the past. I don't know if it's the same one, but also the last couple of days I kept hearing his name. He's came through an EVP that my friend does, so we thought that it was important that Charlie got his voice. So I decided to connect to little Charlie in this reading because he wanted to make his voice known for a long time now. From what I understand, he's also, he tried to make his voice known when he was alive. I found that out after I did the reading. So people took for granted what he saw. Kids are very smart and they do notice the tiniest things. He saw a lot more than people believe, and they don't listen to him, which is mind-boggling to me. I had to bring in guides, my wolf and my panther, to hold Josh back, and it worked out pretty well. So, by the way, just to remind you, the first reading, I got Flintstones in that last reading. When you think of Flintstones, what do you think of? You think of dinosaurs and prehistoric. I was told after this reading that I just did by my team that knows a lot about the case, as a validation, that Charlie drew dinosaurs and a mountain. But people are looking in the desert, and to me, it makes kind of no sense because Charlie is a witness. I mean, he was there, so he should have been listened to a long time ago. And so that's why I feel like my reading is accurate, because it matches what Charlie drew. Now we know that. Before I was like, because everybody kept saying the desert. But the fact that I was validated by his drawing leads me to think that it's accurate. So we decided to give Charlie a voice once again. Just because he's a child does not mean he made up anything, or that what he was drawing or what he was saying was inaccurate. He was trying to tell people where his mom was or what he saw, and no one wanted to listen. It's mind-boggling to me. But anyways, I also need to mention that I also get things passed along the way, like directions, things that were seen, places that were passed. So areas that were passed, things that were passed, names that were passed, or that are around the area to validate an area. Like I said, not everything's going to fit here, but hopefully most of it does. Things can also be symbolic. So I just needed to make that known for those of you who don't truly yet understand how this works. Sometimes it's like directions, and sometimes it's things that are passed on the way or whatever. So I did draw a couple photos or things trying to explain what I was seeing, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the first thing he wanted to show me was toy planes and cars, and I don't know why he wanted to start that out that way. It could be symbolic, and he was showing me like flying the planes and shows me trains. Then he shows me him being scared and crying, knowing that his dad did something to his mom, but afraid to ask or say something. And he shows me tears in his eyes for back at that time, and I do see her wrapped in like a darkish blanket. It was either dark blue or black, and Josh yells, "Get in the car," but I think the little one was asleep, and I think he put her in the car first, but I see the trunk a little cracked, and the kids were in the house, and I see him grab the car seat and put it in the car, so the little one was sleeping. And Charlie, I don't know, I see him walking and then being carried, and he's got his eyes closed, but he peeks. And looking at the car, I think it's a darker color. And if the car is backed into the garage, like the car seat is on the right side and Charlie was on the left, and he asked where we're going. And his dad said on a road trip, just us boys. Mommy didn't want to come. Thinking that, Charlie doesn't know, but Charlie's smart. And I think Charlie pretending to be asleep, but was really watching his dad do some things. Susan is standing with him with her arm around him, smiling. I can see a windy road again, and I want to go up, as I've heard Farmington repeated many times for some reason. It doesn't necessarily mean whenever I say like Farmington that it's going to be like the area. Also, it could be past, or just say that's the direction. Could also be, anyways, a body of water, whatever. It kind of just fits where it fits. So it's mostly dark, but I see a right turn and a gas station, and with yellow that's passed on the corner. And then I got kind of a bit of a blank, but then he kept saying Cherry, and then I saw there's like a pool in between two mountains, like a road, but as it's cold and snowing, it's not too far up, but there's a place that he knows about. I see a camping sign or a sign with a tent. Charlie shows me he keeps pretending to be asleep because I see his dad keep looking back to check, like to see if he's seeing anything, and he will like shut his eyes, Charlie will, and he's paying attention to where they are. And I have a pain in the left side of my head, and I'm trying to get the name of the camping area, but it looks like it's rocky with trees. And I mean, there are, I think, mines or caves possibly nearby or hidden. I heard the word Patsy, the word Willowbrook, Custard, number 89, Sleepy Hollow. The pain is going into my right ear on my left side. My ear on my left side. By the way, if you didn't watch Erica, Sandy came in it before I ever started Susan. So something with Ridge. Also, Ridge something, the word hope. And you know how a radio goes in and out, like with static, how it feels like really strong for a minute, and then he goes out, Charlie does, and then he comes back. It's like a barrier, kind of. I don't know if it was his dad trying to get through or whatever, but the word Austin, the word melancholy. I hear bees buzzing or some type of bug. I'm shown a jar of honey. There has camping and fishing and hiking, but the area she's in, is hidden. And I think he scoped it out before. It's not like he drove around and found a spot. He knew of it, and he already found the spot. He knew of it from when he was younger. It makes me feel like there's a possible childhood connection to this area. The word baker or bakers keeps showing me trains, and I don't know why. I think could be an old train mine type of thing, or maybe some old train tracks, or a train close by, or you pass like some kind of train something. Shows me a crescent moon, and there's a reference to a teddy bear that he's hugging. Also spruce, and he shows me a dragon breathing fire. I hear the word Diablo, and that's been coming in for a long time. I can hear, when tires drive on dirt or ice and snow and the cracking sound. I can hear that. I can also see that there's a pull-up, and then my eye is itching, sorry. And then after the pull-up, there's a little dirt parking lot, and then there's a pathway, and this pathway leads down. I don't know if it's like a mine or a cave, something like that, similar to that, maybe both. I can see walls are shiny and wet, but that could be symbolic as well. As Charlie was saying, he couldn't bury her because of ice and snow. The water was kind of frozen, plus worry of her washing up, I think, and then that's kind of like the only place to really put her, and it's familiar. And I think he found it as a kid. I kept getting the word hideaway or a hideaway. So he's breaking it down logically. Charlie was trying to tell me that that's why it's right. And he said he pretended he was asleep, and then he was watching him take her out of the trunk and carry her down the trail. And he had on snow boots or boots, and I could hear him walk, and I could hear the crunching. And this cave or mine or whatever it is, looks like it's kind of hidden by branches and trees. No one really knows it's there. I think it's where the hideaway comes in, and now I see boards over it, or it's boarded up with an X kind of thing, but you can still get through. X marks the spot. And I hear dripping water, and I feel like, how caves and stuff, there's fallen rocks. I think he laid her down with a blanket and then put rocks on top of her, because I kept seeing him picking up rocks and putting on top of her, so that if anybody saw a pile of rocks, they would think, no, just a pile of rocks. I also saw a warning sign. So I don't know if that's on the way to her or around her. It kind of reminds me of back in Erica, how I got the black and yellow, sign with the stripes. It kind of reminds me of that. I got the reference to molten lava, so maybe from back in the day or something long ago, maybe it made rocks. I don't know if this camping area is just this is a camping area. It's just close to one or like on the way to one. I think it may be just close. Like if you keep going, you hit the camping. I saw snow falling and him not being able to see well. I got a reference to maybe about 5 minutes or so between the mountains. Depends on how fast you drive. Possibly 89 because I got 89. I saw it clearly. It was kind of thrown at me. I got a reference to trees too, like lots of trees, like in a way woodsy but mountain woodsy. And I feel like I want to go right or on the right side of the road. Like, when I made that turn, it was right and then right, which makes sense because that's where the mountains are. Right side of the road is a little curvy. And there's like a first turn off, and I think there may be either a lake, a river, a creek, or something, some type of water where Josh used to play when he was younger, but I felt like a bigger body of water. It could even be a reservoir, I guess, just because reservoir I dreamed of, and it might interconnect with Jen, but it looked like a big body of water, so it might be closed, or like if you keep going up the road, it's there. Like in the vicinity. So, because I kept seeing a reference to a rope swing into the water. So, like I said, it might be like further up or close by. Hear the word moonbeam. I see him walking back, and poor Charlie has tears in his eyes that he's like tears that he's holding back, and he's pretending to be in the car asleep. And I see him drip down. I see them drip down his face, the tears, and in the dark, quietly, suffering in silence, knowing better than to ask. I'm not really sure what happens after that. I think Charlie cried himself to sleep, but I think maybe they stayed somewhere, not a camp. It was too cold. Possibly a hotel, like those dinky small ones with no cameras. And he had a hat that he pulled way down. It was dark blue, either dark blue or black, baseball cap, dark in color. And he pulled it way down so no one would recognize him. And I got a reference to the word wood and pine and numbers 57 and the color red. And I think that's all. He's waving and standing with his brother and his mom, and they're all happy to be together. Josh is on the lower astrals, and he's still evil because he's dumb. And I know he's around. I can feel pain in my shoulder when he comes, like through. Like if I feel like I've been kind of close to an area before, because I'll get this pain in my shoulder. My guides were strong at holding him back during this, though. I think Charlie wanted to do this for a long time because his name has come in for quite some time. He didn't show if he witnessed anything, but I feel like he did. The way he makes me feel, he just really doesn't want to go over it or talk about it. But I see him looking and watching through a cracked door, like peeking through it. I think he basically knew and saw basically everything, and I think he's happy to be with his mom again. I think he would have been traumatized, like his whole life would have been screwed up. He shows me the outcome if he would have lived, probably turned into drugs or self-medication, and probably ended up passing young or down a bad road. Because he says it was very hard on him and no one was listening, and he felt like he was kind of suffering in silence. So he's happy they're together without Josh. This is not the first time, I think, in like past lives or whatever. I think Charlie went through so much and no one would listen to him. Like he had no idea of where, like he had an idea of where his mom was, an idea of how to get there, and he was trying to tell everybody, but no one would listen or took him seriously. I also had a vision of a tall pointy rock in Erica. I'll show you that I drew. I wonder if it fits here. Finally, he gets to make his voice known. He's a sweet boy, very gentle spirit, very old soul, smart kid. He kept showing me him playing with a golden retriever, a dog, so I don't know why that could be symbolic as well. Sweet, sensitive boy, very sad situation. The sign was brown that had the tent on it. And some things that could fit from the other readings, possibly, as Erica came through. Erica, that she came in a lot for some reason, can interconnect also with her and Mackenzie, was Crystal Buchanan, but Buchanan also interconnect the Sid girl missing. Her last name's Buchanan. Rainbow, and that's in the third reading of Erica. Rainbow, Diamond, possibly ranch or horses or equestrian, birch and branch, or possibly some things that could fit here from the other readings. I'm sure that there's more as well. I mean, how we figure out the interconnects is we start looking to see if other things from the reading are around what we've gotten in other readings. It's kind of confusing, and I do have to admit, but it's not my fault. It's just the way that it is, and I wish it was easier, but I don't know why it's like that way. So let me show you the pictures that I drew real quick. So I don't know, the rock, I have my big light on, so I don't know why my lighting is so bad, but this is like the rock I was seeing, and I don't know if it's here or if it's Erica, but I think it might fit here actually. But see, it's like there might be other rocks around it, but it's definitely, it comes to a point. That was one thing that I drew. And so you can see, like, it's like a windy road, and then, like, you take like a little road off, and then there's a parking lot. Like, it reminded me like around, like, if there's no snow, it would be dirt, and then there's like a pathway that leads to like the cave or the mine or whatever that is, little spot over there, and then it looks like there's mountains in the background, and of course there's trees around. And I'm sorry, like I said, I try with my light, my biggest light in the house is on, so I don't know why my lighting is so bad, unless it's possibly just the tablet crappy. So because my computer broke, and I ended up having to get like a tablet and a wireless keyboard in order to do my work. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, liking, subscribing. If you guys have an idea of where they're talking about, let me know. You can email at gentleheartreadings@hotmail.com or thepsychicsleuth@gmail.com. Also, if you want to join the group, the Psychic Sleuth Podcast, on Facebook, we do talk about a lot of validations. We do try to figure out some areas. We add everything in there. If I get random visions or whatever, that's where it goes, because I don't always have time to make a video. And so it'd be great if you can come in there, and then we can get some ideas going if you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. I plan on connecting more and trying harder. So it seems like every little bit we get more clues. It's about putting it all together like puzzle pieces. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time.